Carlo, first of all, I just want to talk to you about the Veneto Banks, because when you bought them, there was a lot of speculation that actually this puts you in a huge advantage compared to all your other competitors. Do you believe that that is without a doubt the case?
So the point of the Veneto Banks is that you have, first of all, to avoid the systemic risk within the country. And Intesa Sanpaolo was the only one that can remove at all this risk within the country. So when you are CEO, you can move on increasing net income or reducing cost of equity. So cost of equity is related to systemic risk, and in case of Veneto Banks, we were able to reduce cost of equity for Intesa Sanpaolo and for all the banking system in Italy. This transaction was, in my view, an example of team working within a bank, a European institution, and the government in Italy, and also Parliament, because you know that we need the approval of the Parliament to finalize the transaction. So right. That's the result of this story. But
what are the implications for Intesa Sanpaolo? It wasn't a bad deal, right? It was a good deal for you. That's fair.
So it was a deal that allow us to have capital neutral, dividend per share neutral, and earning per share accretion. So the point of deal is for sure a good deal, is a deal that can allow us to change also part of the story into a restructuring, not only growth, that was part of the story of Intesa Sanpaolo, so growing revenues, transforming business model, reducing non-performing loans. Now we can add also story of reducing costs and restructuring. So I think that at the end, this is a good deal for Intesa Sanpaolo shareholders, but also for the customers of the Veneto Bank, for the real economy in Italy, but also for Europe at all, because the systemic risk in Italy could also be considered systemic risk in Europe.
Okay, does it change your strategy? So you're very generous with your time with us, and so through the years we knew that you were going to buy something, you've been very clear about that, then there was that blip with Generali. What does this acquisition change in terms of how you see Intesa going forward?
So also the point on Generali, sorry, because the attitude is the same. So as a CEO, you have the duty to evaluate possibility to create value for your shareholders, and then you can say, no, I cannot create value, or yes, I can create value. In the case of Veneto, we decided to make a negotiation very tough with the European authorities, with the government, and also with the Parliament, and we succeeded in having a deal that can create value for shareholders. So the strategy is also to have a strong market share in an area of Italy that is growing, probably like Germany, and also in which you have a concentration of wealth of the country. And wealth management, you know, is part of the story of Intesa Sanpaolo. So I think that at the end, it is a good story, but it is also related with the fundamental of our strategy in increasing our market share in wealth management sector.
Okay, I want to ask about the dividend. I know you're focusing on the absorption of these banks first, but actually you're still looking at acquisitions abroad, so outside Italy.
So outside of Italy, the point of acquisition outside of Italy is a point of target, price, and respecting capital neutral and dividend per share neutral. So at the time we had different conversation on wealth management targets in the past, but at the end, the goodwill and the litigation that are embedded in a lot of targets, the results of this analysis is that it is better to proceed with organic growth, but concentrate on making acquisition of team of bankers and so clients. So that's a strategy that we want to increase, especially in Switzerland, in which we want to cover an increase in hiring of private bankers from other competitors. Our Intesa Sanpaolo Swiss, it is not enough to be sure to have the tapping of all the money that is in Switzerland owned by the Italian clients.
Carlo, yesterday we spoke to one of your shareholders, David Harrow of Harris Associates, and this is what he said. He was very nice about you, actually, because you know it would have been better TV if he wasn't, but he was very nice. Oh, okay. And he said he still thinks that Intesa is substantially undervalued. How and when will your bank be better valued at its full value, and what will trigger it?
So as I told you, there's a point on Intesa Sanpaolo that was cost of equity, because we were attracted by systemic risk in the country. So the reduction of systemic risk through Veneto Banks, but also Monte Paschi di Siena situation solution is an important part of the story related to cost of equity. So this can allow to have better evaluation related to the discount of cost of equity. On the other side, on net income, the possibility to look at our results, looking that on a fundamental basis we are able to deliver results, because you remember when we had the first interview in Davos when I was appointed CEO, and no one was betting on the possibility of paying 10 billion euros dividend. It is impossible. You are an Italian bank. It is not possible to triple net income. So in reality, we delivered, and now we are delivering a significant reduction in non-performing loans. We are delivering a transformation in a wealth management company. Second part of the story is continuing to grow in wealth management. We have a lot of potential within our wealth. Do not forget, and now we are managing 920 billion euros of wealth of Italian families, and also possibility to reducing costs that, in my view, could be really the next phase of our group.
So you're working on a new business plan, right?
Yes.
If you look at the guidelines, will it be on wealth management? You seem to be talking about that quite a lot.
Yes, there's part of the fundamental of the story, because we have a lot of room to conversion. We have 100 billion euros that for sure we can convert into asset under management in the next years. We can become one of the first, probably second, third player in property and casualties insurance business in our countries. We can become the first online bank also through the acquisition of the Bank of Drugstore, that is the new initiatives, and also possibility of reducing a number of branches, reducing costs in a significant way, and then cost of risk, because we are delivering a significant reduction of non-performing loans at zero cost for shareholders, so meaning that our provision are enough to recover and continue the strategy of being a private equity funds in the way in which we deal with non-performing loans. So my expectation is that cost of risk can come back to the pre-crisis level in 2 or 3 years' time, and so the potential upside is significant. Do not forget also.
So is that the backbone of your?
Yes,
this is the kind of the guideline of your plan.
Revenues, wealth management, insurance, and online banking, cost reduction of branches, integration of companies within the bank, cost of risk, reduction of cost of risk, and then you have something that is embedded in the environment, because increase in interest rate will bring us significant upside. Do not forget that we have 400 billion euros of deposits that today have negative markdown. In case of increase of 100 basis points, that is meaning you can come back to 75 basis points, not 4% or something like this. You have an increase of 1 billion euros in our revenue. So the upside is really significant for our bank.
If you look at Italy, so Veneto Banks dealt with, Monte Paschi dealt with. Are there any other banks out there that you worry about will need state aid?
I think that there are some minor cases, so not significant, so that could be, in my view, absolutely managed with not significant impact for the banking sector. So the majority of the problem, so Italy probably today is comparable with France, Germany, so minor cases, Spain, so minor cases but not significant.
But they would be dealt with, for example, by the Italian state. And are you thinking of Genova?
So
or
we will see. Genova probably could be also a solution within private investors. So I cannot be sure that there could be state intervention. But in any case, today is very limited, the possibility to have some negative shock in the country.
Carlo, talk to me about your dividend.
Yes.
Do you believe that dividend will continue increasing every year?
So point of dividend is part of the story. It is clear that it is.
And it has from the start.
Yes. So it is clear that when we started saying we can pay 10 billion euros dividend, but you have to also to consider that dividend yield is very important. So you cannot pay a dividend yield of 10%. So there was yesterday some reaction on you will pay extra dividend or not. So today our dividend yield is 8%, considering 3.4 billion euros that we will pay this year. So you cannot say that you can have a 20% dividend yield in the future. So there is a correlation between market cap of the company, dividend, and also net income. We are working in order to create conditions to increase net income, and then we will make all the analysis in order to set the dividend. But it is clear that it is part of the story, and will remain part of the story of a bank that has a significant excess capital, and we want to maintain excess capital also for the future.
Is that why yesterday you had a little bit of, I mean, you had some excellent results, and then the share price was down a bit. I guess, was it on disappointment of this extra dividend that people were hoping for?
You have to consider that our share price increased a lot in the last 2-3 weeks. So probably at the end, the closing yesterday was flattish. Extra dividend could have been considered as probably a possibility for some investors, but in my view, I need absolutely to look at dividend yield and also comparison with other peers. So today we are by definition best in class if you look at dividend yield. So if they give me 10 billion more market cap, I can make.
Talking of market cap,
it's something like
an exchange. This is the one-year share price performance for Banca Intesa Sanpaolo. You can see up 60% almost, 58.45. Carlo Messina, what's your take on Europe in general? So we do seem, when you look at, I guess, Fed policy compared to ECB policy, the euro is going up because it feels like we're in a much stronger place. Is there a danger that Europe is strong enough but that Italy isn't, so that interest rates go up too quickly or something happens where Italy can't quite catch up?
So Italy isn't. I disagree on this point, Francine, because Italy is in a situation that is more comparable to Japan. It is not an option of growth that you can compare with China, with also with Germany. So Italy, a growth of 1% in a country in which you maintain wealth, no systemic risk, could be absolutely also a very good positioning in Europe. The real point of Italy is the amount of public debt. So in our country there should be an effort from the government to reduce public debt through disposal of real estate. There are a lot of properties that can be disposed, but in any case, in my view, Europe and Italy can grow. Euro, in the sense of currency, can have a revaluation that could be a problem for possible growth, especially for countries like Germany and Italy that are really export-related, but not so significant. So we will see what can happen in USA and in Europe. In my view, there could be in 2018 a reduction of the quantitative easing, so that's my expectation, and so interest rate can increase starting from the end of 2018. So we have to be ready both in the banking sector, in which we will benefit from the increase, because as I told you, negative markdown, but for the public debt in Italy, that's not positive.
Does it make a difference to you, Brexit, for your business model? I don't know if it changes.
No, Brexit is not so important for Intesa Sanpaolo, and I have to tell you that I'm ready also to reinforce my presence in the country,
the UK.
Investing in not as acquisition, but investing with clients in UK. In any case, we are today not a significant player, but we can benefit from the best part of the Brexit. So.
All right, thank you so much.